this is Scrapping Amy with Mommy Scrapping, and I am here with Take Two Tuesday, where I take my Facebook live video from Sunday, speed it up, and narrate it. Was so excited to do this video because I just got in Shamil's new collection field trip. I ordered everything except the project pad. Now, what is not here, that's how much paper I got. What did not arrive yet are the silver matte alphas, the embossed puffy stickers, the lenticular stickers, and the thicker phrases and titles. So those are not here. These are the papers that I've picked out. I end up using most of these. The two cut apart sheets I pulled solely to cut out the wild and free on that first one, and then the sheet right here you see the choose your own adventure. And I noticed it's got this adorable robot, which I have a photo of my daughter wearing a robot onesie when she was about 3 months old that I've got to find. So all in all, when I was done with this, I totaled it up. I think I used 11 different sheets of Field Trip. Oh my goodness, I love this collection. It is so bright and colorful. The photo I have of my daughter today was taken by her ELA teacher on their last field trip. I didn't go on it, so I enlisted the help of fellow teachers to take some photos. So this first paper is this lovely dot one, and I decided to use the strips of color to have go across horizontally since it's a vertical photo. And of course, everybody's saying, hey, give Tucker a treat. So I do give him a cookie. It was his gotcha day when this was being filmed, so he was spoiled to no end. This paper here reminds me of Starry Night. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I think I only picked up one of them, which is a little disappointing for me, but I have plenty of field trip paper, so I think I will be okay. And this is where I'm going to start just cutting things. I go through and just cut layer after layer after layer. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mats to the photo, each of them getting consecutively bigger. And when I usually do it, so a 4x6 photo, I will cut 1/4 inch size mats. So my first mat is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. Then it's 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. And that way it lets me make easy mats that will stack. But this time I do a messy stack. And so even having the same size border easily lets you do a messy stack. Now, the paper I pulled that I thought I was going to use, it didn't really work for me anymore. The navy cardstock that I backed it on, it's not truly navy, it's a very dark royal blue. But it ended up that one of the colors that I pulled just didn't quite seem to work. So when I do my stacks, I like to have a pattern next to one that reads as a solid, and at least one of the pattern layers I feel needs to have all of the colors of my layout. So I actually have 2 that do that. One is that light blue that's immediately backing the photo of Elizabeth. And then another one is that round, to me it looks like umbrellas. It's an umbrella paper to me. Some people will call it pie graphs, but I find that it looks like a bunch of open umbrellas, like I'm looking down from the top of a high building. Now this floral paper, I think I cut it at 7 or 8 inches, and then I realized, oh, with all these stacks, these mats for the stack, it's going to end up being way too small. So I cut it in half and split it. The photo goes over the split, you never know. So don't tell anybody my secret, okay? I'm sure it is safe on the internet. No one will ever find out. I struggled a lot with the title. Now, before I started filming, I had come up with a title for this. And then I forgot. So I was like, oops. The ceramic tray up there, I pulled some of my favorite die cuts from the pack. There are limited embellishments with this pack. And that to me is very disappointing. It did make this more difficult even if I had had all of the embellishments in, without like that small sticker sheet, the small sticker folder, that, and without the chipboard, it was like, wow, I feel a lot more limited than I normally feel. My sister's asking about adhesive there. So now I have my basic framework and it is time to embellish. Now I have the alphas. I love that these alphabets are two separate colors, one red, one blue. They're absolutely beautiful. And then I don't use them. I can't figure out a way to make them work with the words, the cards, choose your own adventure and wild and free. I can't seem to get anything to fit in there. Looking through the journaling pad. This journaling pad is actually one of the more usable ones, I feel. And I'm trying to remember at this point what my title was. And I had thought I'd gotten the title from one of the phrases on the cut apart sheets. So I end up not figuring out what it was. Sorry about that. Facebook decided to get a little crazy there for a moment. So go ahead and put those down. Now this ruler I struggled with. I moved all over and I couldn't find a good place to put it. Like I'm putting it at the bottom and then there's this gap between the floral paper and that. Finally, I decide to cut it. So first I trim the ends off a little bit, and then I cut it 1 through 4. 4 ends up getting quite covered up. But I do the 1 through 4 on one side, and then the 5 and 6 on the other. So you kind of get the impression that it is a full strip of tape. Obviously, there would not be that much space between a 4 and a 5, but when all is said and done, it actually reads quite well. And that 5 over there is what gives me the idea for her, for the title for this page for her. And it ends up being Grade 5 Fun. Now I just put Grade 5 here, I think at the beginning. And in a moment I go, oh, I can add the word fun under there. And that would make lots of sense. And then it also kind of pulls together that I'm actually using the number 5 as part of the title. So that floral piece there is the only floral in the entire collection, like floral die cut, which is a little disappointing. I have to confess I'm a little spoiled by Paige Evans and that you get a pack of florals. I would have loved a pack of florals specifically for this collection. That tiny little label right there is where I'm going to be journaling later. I don't journal online. And here's where I finally decide to add fun. I end up journaling. You had a blast for your 5th grade end of year field trip. You had an amazing year. I can't wait to see what the future brings. Now, this rocket ship seems like a rather random thing to put on there. And I have to admit it kind of is. But I love the phrase go far. You know, she's growing up and a lot of my layouts right now center around the fact that things are changing. They're changing for her from going to a kid to a teenager, and we're in those awkward years right now. So things are a little more difficult, not just for her, but for her father and I. We're trying to navigate it. So this one here says, remember when. That one says today. This one says, oh, hello. And that orange one says, be cool. And I end up putting the other one, the light blue one said cool. And I didn't want cool and be cool both on there. Now, I'm starting to figure out what embellishments I want. And the Viewmaster, I don't know, it seems to me like a random embellishment. But obviously, color-wise, it works. And with it being next to Choose Your Own Adventure, I feel like it fits. I go back and forth on it if I want that leaf on there, and I'm asking everybody who is participating in my live going, should I do it? I want to do splatters on it. What color splatter? Should it be black? Should it be navy? Should it be gold? I end up deciding upon the gold splatters, which surprised me. I was actually leaning towards the navy, and then I'm like, you know what? Gold is going to show up and just give it a little bit more shine. First, I'm going to add some sequins. and I pull from two different ones from Spiegel Mom Scraps. The first one I think is actually a Christmas one that's retired, but it's got red and wood toned, wood patterned, I guess, sequins in it. So I thought those would work well with the layout. And then I go ahead and add these blue ones, which I think it's Ariel's tail, but they're mermaid themed, but I just end up using the large blue ones from it, which those colors, bright and bold, match particularly well with this collection. And I'm just having some issue with my glue there. These sequins, I need to clean the end of my jewel picker. I've noticed that after a while of putting sequins on, the glue comes through the little hole in the sequin and dries on the tip of the jewel picker, and so it ends up not being sticky, but cleaning it off with a little bit of water helps. It's time for my Nuvo drops, which means I am almost done. I use the Caribbean blue and then the Midnight blue. The green one is one I don't use as often, but it's Woodland Green, I believe the name of it. The orange is Ripened Pumpkin, I think. And the last one, I can't remember. Let me grab my swatch book real quick because it has the title. The last one is Bubblegum Blush. Oh, it was Caribbean Ocean, not Caribbean Blue, excuse me. And I'm not using any of the enamel dots, which kind of surprised me. So I'm trying to clean up a little bit so I can get out my splatter folder, which this is just made from 2 Manila Office Supply folders that I've kind of trimmed the tab off and taped together. We use these at school as well as privacy shields for our students, so they are less inclined to look at each other's work, shall we say. Use a size 4 paintbrush, which very nicely gives me some very small splatters. I'm still experimenting with how to get different size splatters. But at this point, I think I am wrapping up. Still shots are coming up. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys all have an absolutely lovely day. Oh, got to put the date on there. Forgot about that. All right, and now I'm done. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.